Welcome to episode 5 of my World War II 172 or 20mm review series. This series is going to be covering a whole heap of different manufacturers of our favourite metal miniatures, and today the lovely team at Eastfront Miniatures sent me some samples to add to the review series and let you guys know about their website, etc. But first of all, if you're new to this review series, you can go to my YouTube channel, click playlists, go to the 172 World War II Miniatures review series, and there you'll be able to find all the different reviews that I've done. You can see they've got AB figures, Adler, Simon soldiers, and CP models on there so far. And now we're going to be adding Eastfront Miniatures to that playlist. Now, Eastfront Miniatures have a fantastic website full of plenty of miniatures ranging from World War II to the Vietnam War to the Bush War, a whole variety of different scales, plus terrain, rule books, etc. So it's a really big website. You're probably going to get lost with the amount of goodness that's on there, but definitely go and check it out. They've got some very unique miniatures in there. So they've obviously got your generic like British Airborne, US Airborne, British Infantry, US Infantry, etc, etc. But they also have some very unique stuff. So they have Chindits, they have some of the early war US in the Pacific, sailors and airmen, as well as a whole range of different miniatures. So definitely worth having a look. As you can see here, some of those cool sailors and airmen for the Pacific will work absolutely great if that's what you're into. So let's take a look at some of the US Airborne that was sent to me. So this chap has got an M1 Garand. He's got most of his equipment. He's missing his backpack. You can just say that got lost in his jump or during combat. But yeah, overall, he looks pretty good. He's got his M1 Garand. I will note that the M1 Garand isn't as detailed as some manufacturers out there, and that's fair enough. This is where they're going with their range. Some people don't want super detailed models. They want something that they can paint and get on the tabletop as quickly as possible. And now if that is somebody like you, these miniatures are absolutely going to be for you, because as you can tell, some of the detail doesn't stand out as much as you'd expect from some other manufacturers, which is, as I said, fair enough. But everything's there. Everything's where it needs to be. So they've got backpack, and this guy here with another M1 Garand, a really nice firing pose. The actual pose looks really nice. And overall, he looks pretty good. There's, like I said, some detail lacking, especially in the rifle. But the cleanup is not involved at all. This guy's got a Thompson with some ammo pouches on his chest there, with a backpack and water bottle. Bit of cleanup there and some details just lacking. So I'm not sure if the molds are just getting a little bit older. But you know what? Like I said, this is just something that a lot of people are happy to live with because they want a war game. They don't want to paint a scale model, which is absolutely fine. This guy's firing a rifle grenade, which is a really cool pose. I really love the fact that he's got the rifle resting on the floor, which I think is a realistic touch. I'm not sure how much recoil you would get from a rifle grenade, but that's probably a lot more realistic in my opinion anyway. But overall, really nice. You can see there's not a whole lot of cleanup, which is great. So that just shows you the casting quality is pretty good. And you can hopefully get a better sense of what they look like in this picture that's just popped up on your screen now. So this is just like your generic section, which is nice. I love the fact he's got a bayonet. You don't really see too many US Airborne miniatures out there with a bayonet, and you could imagine that the sort of close quarter combat that would have been happening in places like Normandy and Market Garden. So that's a really nice touch, and I like the fact they mix prone with standing. You don't have to buy a separate prone section. It's all just very nice and realistic. The poses do look very, very realistic, which is a lovely touch indeed. Now the next set we're going to look at is the command set. Now I particularly like the guy that's just being picked up again. He looks really cool, pointing away. These models are slightly smaller, and I will make a comparison photo at the end with the other ranges we've reviewed, but I reckon they're going to fit in really nicely with your Airfix models, or with your Revel US Airborne, they will actually match really nicely the size and the detail that's on these. I think you'd be really chuffed with how they would match together. So bear that in mind. If you're somebody that collects a lot of those the plastic kind of miniatures, as I've just noted just then, definitely worth grabbing a set of these to mix in with them. Now the quality has gone a bit skew with here. Just comparing their facial expressions. I need to fix up that focus. I do apologise for that. There we go. A bit better now. But yeah, overall really nice. This guy's got a walkie-talkie, if you will, or a radio, and he's communicating with whoever he needs to communicate with. Doesn't have a backpack on, but has the detail that he needs and the equipment that he needs. A bit of cleanup on the helmet involved. There's just a mold line going straight over the top of his helmet. That's normal. You'll see that on most companies. This guy's got a BAR. They weren't present in Normandy from what I've learned. I mean, there might have been the odd one, perhaps, I'm not too sure, but from what I've learned, they're not present in Normandy, so this guy would be more for Market Garden. But the detail, again, isn't superb, but the actual BAR looks a lot better than the Garand, in my opinion. And then we've got a medic, which is a lovely touch. I always like having these unique characters in my armies, especially medics and casualties and stuff, just to make it look a bit more realistic. It's got 2 water bottles. It's a bit of, you might have to punch a hole between the arm there and the torso, but other than that, not a whole lot to do. There's actually quite a nice gap there where his legs were as well. And then we've got a guy hip firing a Thompson, which is an awesome touch. You can tell with the Thompson there's not a ton of detail on there, but the more I review this and the more I think about it, the more I think that they would definitely be a great match for your Airfix and Revel collectors, which I know there are tons of them out there. So let's have a look at how I rate these compared to the other ones we've reviewed so far. So I'm going to give this a 21.5 out of 30. The level of detail I'm going to put at 6.5, casting quality at 8, and overall satisfaction at 7. They are a great range of miniatures. There's so much to get out of them. But when compared to the other ones, they're just not at the same level of detail. So you might be able to make that out here when we compare them. They are actually smaller than the other guys as well. But 21.5 out of 30 is still a fantastic score. You know, that's a really, really good score. So you would not be disappointed with these. You might get the odd one that you might go, oh, it doesn't fit in. But you get that with most manufacturers. So definitely add these to your collection, or at least get a set and check them out and make your own opinion. Remember, this series is all my own opinion. This is what I believe. In no way am I some sort of expert on the matter. This is just how I'm taking it at face value when I've ordered them. These were kindly sent to me by Eastfront Miniatures as well, as I said at the start, so thanks again for that one. Now, if you're new here, please do like and subscribe, and if you're enjoying this series, do let me know below. A huge thank you goes out to my patrons as well. Your support really does help the channel grow, as well as my YouTube channel members. I've got one. That's Keith. So thank you for that, Keith, representing the YouTube crew. So just before I go, I'm just having a quick look at the MG set as well. The MG is actually really nice. There's lots of detail in the barrel, which was a really nice surprise when compared to like the Thompson and the M1 Grand, where there wasn't as much detail. The actual MG itself had quite a lot of detail in, which is a really nice touch. And I love the fact that they've added the ammo crate separately. But other than that, guys, I'm going to leave it here and let you watch the rest of this, and I will catch you at the next one.